Today I'm going to show you guys my games from day 2 of CRL that qualified me for the monthly final. So for my first best of 3 duel, I was up against Basoto, who's one of the best players of all time, and I was playing an Electro Giant deck. Guys, basically how this works is that there was a 1,000 player bracket for the top 1,000 players yesterday, and I qualified to the top 32, and now this was the top 32, and they basically split us up into 4 groups of 8 players, and only the top 3 players in each group would move on. And how they decided the top 3 players in each group is that basically we do one best of 3 duel against every other player in our group for a total of 7 duels, and you know, whoever got the most wins, the top 3 who got the most wins would then, you know, move on to the next stage. I decided to get an aggressive lightning down here. When I saw the wizard, I knew Samuel had a hog deck, and honestly, that was a pretty nice lightning because it forced him to play an awkward Tesla. You know, guys, the interesting thing for me here this month in CRL is that I actually don't have the same coach as I had when I got the golden ticket, because the coach that I was with when I got the golden ticket, he's currently on vacation right now during CRL, so I had to get a new coach temporarily. And I was just not sure how I could do, and I'm still not really sure how I'm going to do with this new coach, but, you know, in the top 1,000 bracket, I was doing really well, so I'm feeling pretty good. And yeah, I think me and my coach here had a pretty good deck pick. I was kind of helping my coach just a little bit with the deck picks, you know, sometimes saying like, oh, I think this could be a good option versus the threats that he told me that our opponent could be playing. I got a really nice Golden Knight ability here, getting right on his Evo Wizard. Maybe I could have gone for a Lightning too, but I just decided to try to play a little bit safe in this matchup. And, you know, this matchup is normally pretty difficult, actually, when the Hog player has a Firecracker, but luckily for me, Samuel had a Wizard, and we knew that if Samuel played Hog Rider, he probably would have the Wizard Monk version. So that just meant that my Lightning would just get so much value, and he couldn't really stack defenses too easily, you know what I mean? And also, guys, the Spirit Empress is just incredibly good right now, man. I think most of the top players use Spirit Empress pretty much every single set, and I know I used it almost every set as well. It's just so hard to kill unless you have a rocket, but even with that rocket, that's just a 6-for-6 trade, so it's not even bad. And nobody plays rocket either. So I was down a little bit here against Samuel, guys, but I wasn't really worried at all because I knew in double elixir with the right push I could pretty easily get through with like a Golden Knight or something. The Evo Archers did get kind of destroyed by the Evo Tesla there. That was a really smart placement by Samuel. Didn't really think he would do that. My Spirit Empress did actually get on the tower, but then he was able to reset it with the Electro Spirit. And I believe I got a nice Tornado to pull in the Evo Wizard. Yeah, E-Giant just got a little bit of a tower connection right here. I knew that even if Samuel defended absolutely perfectly and I got no major tower connection, that I could still pretty much just lightning cycle Samuel, so I wasn't really in too much of a rush here. I was kind of just playing things slow, and I feel like whenever I played my Spirit Empress on the map, I basically guaranteed got value out of it, so I was cycling it as much as possible. Didn't want to waste a whole lightning here, so just went for the cheaper Barbarian barrel. And I got my E-Giant as well, just trying to take down the Wizard. Man, I'm curious what comments you guys are going to leave under today's video. I feel like you guys have been getting more and more interesting with the comments recently. Dude, there's like this one bacon head in my comment section who keeps on calling me a meathead for no reason, bro. He's been commenting like 5 videos in a row saying how I'm a meathead and how I'm like doing steroids or something like that. It's so funny. Anyways, right here I saw Samuel play the Evo Wizard, and I kind of wanted to get a Lightning, guys, but the Evo Wizard obviously has the shield, so I got my Golden Knight down, and then I got the Tornado as well, just to take that shield off. Got my ability, but didn't really do what I wanted it to do, so I just, yeah, played the late Lightning. Goblin Cage defended his Hog Rider very easily. It was actually very smart that me and my coach decided to play the Goblin Cage in this deck, guys, because if I had the Cannon, it would actually make it quite a bit harder since Cannon gets destroyed by the Earthquake, obviously, but when you have the Goblin Cage, even if they Earthquake it, you always get that Brawler. Also, his Monk just completely got wrecked there, man. If you don't play that Monk ability super early, it does sometimes just die now, ever since that nerf that it got. Or, I guess, rework, because it did get an HP buff at the same time. My E-Giant was inching closer to the tower, and I just went for an aggressive Lightning, just tried to get the final bit of tower damage to secure the win. E-Giant got right on the tower, and you know, the good thing for me, guys, is that I feel like E-Giant doesn't use that many meta cards. Like, you know, it has Lightning, Tornado, and of course the Spirit Empress, but like it doesn't waste that many good spells and stuff like that, so I was feeling pretty good going on to the next games of this duel. So for my next game against Samuel, I was up 1-0 and I just needed to win one more to beat him, but if he wanted to beat me, he would have to beat me twice. And guys, we decided to play this aggressive Boss Bandit bridge spam deck. My coach and I were kind of deciding whether I should play either Hog or Earthquake Wizard, the same deck that he was playing against me in game 1, or if I should play this deck, and we kind of leaned towards this deck in the end, or I guess mostly he leaned towards this deck, and I just decided to trust him. When I first went in with it, though, I thought maybe I made a bit of a mistake, because with Hog Wizard, you know, I'm one of the best players in the game with that type of deck, so I knew that even if I got a bad matchup, I could outplay with it, and I think I would have had a pretty decent matchup if I played Hog Wizard here against Samuel. He was playing some sort of Goblin Drill deck, but I knew that I could have a good chance to win here because I had the arrows for the Bomber, and also the Boss Bandit is just really good. And guys, when Samuel wasted this Skeleton King, I knew that I could go in here. I knew that this man would just be dead right here. I knew this was my chance, but then he just went for a good fireball, and I think his Bomber might have splashed my cart. No, it didn't splash my cart. Then I got a ram other side, just trying to double lane. The Boss Bandit got on the tower. Cannon cart just moved as a building, bro. How did that move as a building? That doesn't even make sense. And I knew Samuel had nothing now, so I went for the Ghost guys, and I knew he would Skeletons here, so I went for a prediction Goblin Curse, and I just cooked this man, bro. Holy moly, that was such a good Goblin Curse there. That was clean. Then he wasted all his elixirs, so I knew I could just Evo Ram at the bridge. And Samuel just started Goblin laughing. That was actually so well played by me, honestly. Just like really good calculation of his elixir. It wasn't game over yet because he had just a little bit of HP remaining and I had no big spell, but I had a few little spells to get chip damage. Alright, so then double elixir hit, guys, and some crazy stuff is about to happen here that you'll see pretty soon. I was just cycling my arrows and stuff, you know, just trying to get that little bit of extra spell damage on his tower because that just put him in Evo Zap range, so I knew at the end of the game I could just play my Evolved Zap. Man, I'm just loving the Goblin Curse against the Skeleton King every single time, bro. It's just so good. And by the way, guys, in case some of you ask why I didn't commentate these games live, it's just that when I'm playing CRL, I usually like to put my 100% focus into it, you know? I wouldn't want to risk it all just for the heck of it. I'd rather just also give you guys a bit more insight, because while I'm actually playing live, it's maybe a little bit harder to give as good insight since I'll just be so busy focusing on getting the best interactions. Maybe I won't really be thinking about telling you guys as much as I could right now. So yeah, I defended everything from Samuel. He went for one more Goblin Drill. I think I just got a Ghost, and I was able to predict it. Then I just got arrows to take out his tower, and that did win me the first duel set. Next up, I was up against Jonah, who's actually a pretty good beatdown player. He finished #1 in the world one time with Elixir Golem, so I knew that he'd probably play some sort of dumb no-skill deck against me in the first game, and me and my coach decided that Hog Earthquake would be pretty good to counteract a lot of that, since Firecracker tends to usually stop beatdown pushes pretty nicely. I got a really clean defense right there against his Lumberjack and Bomber. When I saw Lumberjack Bomber, I pretty much knew it would probably be a Giant deck, and I was right. He just cycled the Giant in the back. Now, guys, there was one major issue for me here, and that's the fact that we had Tesla in the deck. We were thinking there's a small chance that he could go for some sort of Spirit Empress deck or Lava Hound deck, so we put in the Tesla, but the thing is, man, Cannon's like 10 times better against Giant than a Tesla is. Like, Cannon, first off, has more DPS, second off, it's cheaper, and it just seems like it can pull the Giant a bit further as well. I thought I was maybe in a bit of trouble here, but I actually got a pretty clean Ice Spirit. Then I think I just got my Skellies down. Yeah. It was a decent start. I took a bit of damage, and he was up a few Elixir. Unfortunately, I knew that he would probably be able to get his King up off this Firecracker as well, which is not ideal, but overall the Elixir was pretty much even right here. I just went in for the log right here, guys. I was a little bit hesitant on cycling my Hog Rider because I knew that if he just got a free Prince to counter push on me, that could put me in a pretty bad spot elixir-wise, so I just was kind of trying to feel him out, just get him to play a few cards, and then I knew that I could probably Hog Rider afterwards. I was thinking he might Fireball here, so I just decided to pull up the Mighty Miner ability to kill that Mega Minion that I went for, I believe, a Hog Rider pretty soon here on the left side, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I went for the Hog Rider and the Ice Spirit as well, just trying to buy one more Hog hit, which I think I was able to do here. Yeah, I got one Hog hit, then I got the second, just thanks to that extra Ice Spirit right there. Jonah went for a pretty aggressive Giant push right here. The Lumberjack, guys, I thought might go for my tower, but I'm so lucky that it went for the Tesla. I thought I just lost the game right then and there when I saw it kind of moving towards my tower. I tried to get like a defensive Hog here, but I just barely was too slow with it. And here I was like, man, I probably am out of this game for sure. It's kind of weird. Like it just feels like it's so much harder to stop the pushes when you have Tesla. Just so awkward feeling. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Mighty Miner was able to take out most of his prince though. See guys, I wasn't really down too much damage at this point, but he had his king up and also I would have to go same lane. But I just decided to switch lanes anyways, because if I went same lane in this matchup, I knew that there was nothing that I could do. I got a very aggressive Hog Firecracker. I feel like maybe I should not have went for that Firecracker. I didn't expect him to go for such an early prince right there. Got my Tesla down and my skeletons too. I think I should have just let the Lumberjack get on my tower and then should have not played the skeletons so I could have them for the prince. And dude, I had the elixir here to get like a log and skeletons, guys, but I didn't expect him to play all those spells so quickly, and I just lost from that. Dude, if I played my stuff quicker, I could have won, but I just didn't think you'd get like all that quick movement from the rage and stuff. Guys, I knew I had to beat this player if I wanted to qualify, man, because this guy is obviously a very good player, but there were some other really strong players in my group, so I knew that if I would lose to this guy, it would be very likely that I might not be able to make it to day 3 and the monthly final. I decided to play this giant skeleton graveyard deck. I mean, actually, this was just really my coach's choice, and I just went with it despite it looking a little bit strange. And Jonah did have the Pekka. I didn't even know what to do here, so I eventually just decided to go for a giant skeleton. Giant skeleton does kind of suck, actually, against Pekka and in this matchup in general, I feel like. But what was really good for me, though, is that I did have the Spirit Empress, and Jonah had the Mother Witch and the Furnace to kill it, but they really don't do enough DPS to take down the Spirit Empress before it does a lot of damage to his Pekka and, you know, whatever pushes he makes. I decided to go for a Goblin Curse here as well, I believe. Yeah, just to try to allow that Golden Knight to die and force out a few more Elixir. Did make him go for the defensive Battle Ram. Guys, sometimes this Graveyard deck does have the Cannoneer in it, and I feel like if I had Cannoneer, it would have made this matchup way better for me. But the issue is that I had no Cannoneer to get that heavy DPS down, and also I didn't really have the best distraction cards, because I had some good cards against him, sure, but I didn't really have any distraction cards for like a Ghost or a Bandit. I would have to play an entire Giant Skeleton just to stop a cheap 3 Elixir card, which can definitely get you a bit punished, but, you know, for single Elixir, things turned out pretty good for me. And the other issue, guys, is that the Mother Witch is obviously one of the best graveyard counters in the game, so I knew he had that, and therefore I did not play my graveyard at all in single Elixir. Basically what my game plan was here is that I wanted to get to my Evolved Zap, because I knew that Evolved Zap plus Goblin Curse could take out a Mother Witch. So I knew that when I get to my Evolved Zap, then I could actually make my first graveyard push. Because you can't really defend fully in this matchup, you have to at least make some pushes to win it. Because sometimes you can just defend fully and win a game if you just defend perfect, but I had no big spell in this deck, so I needed to get some sort of damage with Graveyard to actually win this game. I honestly didn't expect that Bandit to die right there, so I sort of wasted the Bomber, but I think he, still had to go for the Ghost onto it. I had to overcommit with a whole Giant Skeleton right here. And you know, guys, I guess I did have the 3 Elixir Spirit Empress ground form to counter some of his Swarm stuff. Or not Swarm stuff, but like Pressure stuff. But I didn't really play it much because I felt like the big Spirit Empress got so much more value in this matchup. And here I got my Curse plus Evo Zap to kill his Mother Witch. It was a pretty good graveyard there, guys. I kind of played the graveyard up front, and you should really pay attention to that because that just helped me distract his Pekka a little bit better. I mean, I think his Pekka kind of just killed my stuff anyways, but the thought process there was trying to distract his Pekka and allow my Giant Skeleton and stuff to get more value. I did actually get my Ground Spirit Empress right here to distract the Golden Knight. They did buff the Ground Spirit Empress in the last balance changes, so it actually has quite decent HP now and very good damage as well. And here I just was trying to cycle to another Evo Zap. I knew that I might need to get one more Graveyard push if I wanted to be able to win this game. And guys, if I lost this game, I would just be out of this duel, you know, because I was down 0-1. I did go for an aggressive Giant Skeleton, maybe a bit of a weird play, but I think it actually wasn't too bad for me. It forced out a lot of his ground cards, and I got a nice Spirit Empress to kill the Ghost and then just target onto his Pekka afterwards. I got a really nice Evo Furnace here, but stuff was kind of gaining on me, guys. The Bandit was being so annoying. The Spirit Empress missed the Bandit because it attacked at the wrong time, and just like that, guys, my lead pretty much entirely disappeared. Honestly, that was a very bad Evo Battle Ram by Jonah, though, because I feel like the Evo Battle Ram is really hard to stop when you're playing Goblin Hut, but he kind of just wasted it without having it get tanked for. And I was able to take out his Evo Furnace too, which was really nice for me. So I think here I just cycled my Zap, just was going to allow me to get the Evo Zap for my next one. And yeah, my furnace actually got a little bit of chip as well, so I think I just went for a giant skeleton here, just kind of trying to block up the lane. Not that it really does much DPS to a Pekka itself, but it does block up the lane nicely. And then Jonah got the Mother Witch up high, so I just decided to go for a Goblin Curse plus Evo Zap here, even though it didn't get any value on the tower, which was kind of bad for me. Piglet also got a little bit of damage right there, guys, and this game was getting really close really quickly. I wanted to go in for a Graveyard so badly, but I just knew that I couldn't because it would just feed a free Mother Witch. And guys, arrows do way more damage than a zap, so I knew that I needed to get some sort of damage somehow. I got my Goblin up high, then he wasted the Mother Witch up high, so I decided, okay, now I have to go in for a Graveyard. I decided to get my Goblin Curse down as well, just to somehow maybe get me a little bit of damage. And I got a couple nice skeletons, which did chip down the tower, got my Spirit Empresses against the Battle Ram guys, and I was able to take it to game number 3. So for game number 3, we were expecting some relatively heavy deck out of Jonah since he's mostly a beatdown player, so we decided to go for a Logbait deck here, guys, and we also had the Cannoneer Tower too, just to help us counter beatdown. And Jonah ended up playing a Mega Knight deck, which is something that we were kind of expecting he could play. We weren't sure what type of Mega Knight deck he would run exactly, but we knew that he might run some sort of Mega Knight, which we were correct about. When I saw the Dark Prince and stuff, I wasn't really sure what he was playing. I thought maybe at this point that he could have like a Sparky deck or something crazy, so I was kind of just trying to play a little bit chill. Then I saw the Archer Queen and I was thinking, okay, it's maybe going to be Mega Knight, but I was still trying to just be sure about what he was playing. I got a really good Dark Goblin up high. It's really good to play that Dark Goblin up high in the opposite lane, so if they pop that Queen ability, the Dark Goblin just runs away from it and doesn't even die. Got a nice Goblin Barrel here. He went for the Snowball, and I wasn't 100% sure if he had Ram Rider or not. I thought maybe he could have something like a Miner, for example, but yeah, he ended up having Mega Knight Ram Rider. I just went for a Skeleton King kind of up high right here, then I got a nice cannon as well. Yeah, just gang down low too. The Cannoneer really just allowed me to get a very nice counter push. I got my Evo Barrel as well at the perfect time. With the Cannoneer Tower, my troops really didn't take that much damage at all, so yeah, I had a pretty healthy Goblin gang and everything. Got some very nice damage on the right side tower as well, and then Princess did lock on the tower for just a little bit of damage. Very nice. Then I got my Bush down. The Bush can be such an annoying card if your opponent doesn't have the right counter to it. Minions somehow got that much damage right there. I don't even know how that's possible. Kind of an awkward Queen by Jonah. My Dark Goblin was able to, I believe, fully kill it. Yeah, fully killed it, and it got a hit on the tower as well, which is kind of crazy. I got my Bridge Princess because I knew his cycle was just so bad. Yeah, I was playing so well at this point, guys. I just knew that I was in the driver's seat. Went for a barrel all the way in the back just to not give him any value on my gang and the barrel. Got just one stab there, but that was really all that I needed to get. Now, guys, keep in mind, though, that the deck that I was playing had no big spells, so I knew that if I didn't take out Jonah's entire tower, I could still easily lose the game. Because once you get to double and triple elixir, it really shifts into being a much better matchup for them. I got a super nice bar barrel here, guys. That was such a good bar barrel, which basically distracted his Mega Knight for a few seconds, and it made the Ram Rider go in front, so I'd deal with the priority first instead of worrying about the Mega Knight. Got a really good gang there as well, just to make sure that Mega Knight wouldn't keep knocking my Skelly King back and, you know, get some sort of tower connection. I did get 0 barrel damage there, but I was not looking too bad. It's just that it was kind of hard to push into his Archer Queens and stuff, guys, because the Archer Queen is kind of hard to kill for me since I had no big spell. And guys, I did make sure I cycled the cannon kind of early because I knew that he could try to get a lightning down, so if I cycled the cannon early, then I could potentially get to another cannon before his Ram Rider would get to my tower. Then I got the Bush on the tower, and I was like, okay, I think I have this one in the bag. So I got the barrel down, I got, I believe, the Bridge Princess. Yeah, Bridge Princess got on the tower right there, Dark Prince got distracted by the Goblin, and I was able to get a super nice comeback against Jonah. So my next opponent, Tuma, was playing a lot of Hog Rider, Bait, and I believe some Goblin Drill as well, so me and my coach decided to go in for this Goblin Drill deck right here ourselves. The reason why this Drill deck looked like a really good option for us is because this Drill deck usually beats other Goblin Drill decks, since you have the Ghost in there to counter their Drill and just a lot of pressure. And it could do decent against Hog Rider. It's not like the best against Hog, but if you face the right variation, it's not a bad matchup. And I think it can be a little bit interesting against Bait since you don't have a Bar Barrel or a Log, but usually Snowball does good enough, and stuff like the Golden Knight can be really clutch. Now, that was a really annoying start for me. That Fire Spirit somehow splashed on the tower from all that ways away, and he got really good Fireball value. I just decided to go in kind of aggressive with my Goblin Drill here, guys, because he did not have the Skelly King in cycle. His Fisherman was able to pull in my cannon cart, though, which was kind of annoying for me. Kind of just ruined anything I had going. And Tuma was actually playing kind of a weird RG deck right here, guys, which I was not very happy about. I thought that this might just be kind of an unwinnable matchup. I think this matchup is better than it looks, but it definitely is somewhat difficult, I would say, because they have the Skelly King for your drill, they have Fisherman to pull in, you know, your cannon carts, Golden Knights, whatever. And if they RG, the bridge is pretty much guaranteed a connection, at least a little bit of damage. So I think it's definitely kind of difficult, but the Golden Knight can get some pretty insane chains sometimes off of the Tombstone, I will say that. And also the cannon cart is really nice just for kind of controlling the map, so I knew that there were some things that I can do to potentially outplay this guy. Basically, I was just hoping to kind of make him nervous and outplay him. That's what I was hoping to do. I played the Golden Knight just a second late, man, and I completely messed up a potential good push right there because I let that cannon cart die. Yeah. And my Golden Knight, I knew he'd just play a Skelly King for, so didn't really decide to do anything with that. Yeah, I was not feeling too good, guys. I took a little bit of damage, and he took basically no damage at this point. He did decide to go for an aggressive RG, and I was thinking, like, maybe he overcommitted right there. Maybe I can actually punish him for this, but the dumb Evo Furnace just completely destroyed my Electro Wizard, and I literally was left with no counter push and down an Elixir as well. I mean, with the Barbell, I guess, you know, it was pretty much even, but he spent all that Elixir, and he completely got away with it, which was not good for me at all. Because the Furnace was kind of good for me in this matchup, but it was also pretty good for him, since, at least for him, he could take it out with, like, a Barbell plus Fireball, but I didn't really have any amazing way to take out his. I mean, I guess the Golden Knight is actually pretty good against it, so there was that. I got a really nice Fire Spirit there just thanks to the Snowball. That was a really beautiful Snowball right there. And then I believe I just got, yeah, my cart down as well. And I think I got a nice ability on his Mother Witch too. Yeah, the Mother Witch can be a pretty annoying card, but his Fire Spirit did connect on the right side tower, unfortunately, and my push just pretty much got entirely destroyed by his Fireball, so I just could not really build up any push. I feel like if you get a really good push, especially with the Evo Snowball in this matchup, you actually have a chance to get a bit of a breakthrough, but it was just really hard to ever get a good counter push since he was doing a really good job of killing all of my stuff before anything happened. Unfortunately, my Golden Knight didn't chain. If it kept on chaining to, like, the Tombstone and the tower and stuff, that would have been insane, but yeah, unfortunately for me, it didn't. I did play my Evo Furnace in the back here, all the way in the back, knowing he would get a good Fireball on it, but I just did it on purpose because I wanted him to Fireball instead of building up a big RG push or something like that. He did get his Evo Furnace down here, and I was thinking maybe I could get a Golden Knight connection on the tower in it, but I just didn't really want to risk it here. I just wanted to slow roll the cart, get my Furnace other lane. I was playing my Furnace's other lane mostly from this point, guys, because I wanted to just not give him Fireball value. I got a terrible Golden Knight. Then I played the Ewiz, and it got so unlucky that it wasn't in range of the Fisherman. So every single interaction was going wrong for me at this point, guys. Literally everything was going wrong for me. Like, the Ewiz messed me up. I mean, I couldn't have even known that he would play a Fisherman right there because I played the Ewiz before he played the Fisherman, so I couldn't have really fixed that. But, like, there were some interactions that I definitely could have done better with, but I guess I wasn't really fully focused. I did get the best Evo Snowball of my life here. Absolutely picture-perfect timing. And I got so much drill damage. Really good Golden Knight ability. I still can't believe that reached the tower. And then he got the RG at the bridge. I got my cart down. I had no building except the drill, so I got the drill down. I thought it was too late, but I just barely got it off in time. And I had to get in a late Electro Wizard here, which just barely was enough to stop the Royal Giant. And I knew he'd have one more E-Giant push left in him, guys, so I just wanted to block up the lane here. I don't even know how I came back in this matchup. Like, I feel like this matchup is pretty hard, and also I had such a bad start. But man, just one amazing Evo Snowball, amazing Golden Knight ability, and that's all I needed to come back in this game. I knew that my opponent here liked bait decks quite a bit in general, so my coach gave me an RG deck, and normally RG is just okay against bait. It kind of depends what version of bait you're facing, but it's kind of easy to lose it sometimes, because this guy was playing Tesla in it, which doesn't get reflected by the monk, so it is easy to lose it sometimes. But we actually had a pretty good pick here. Well, my coach did. He decided to put Barbell and the Rage together in this RG deck, and having the Rage here just really helps you out against buildings, because obviously something like Fireball or Lightning could take out buildings and do a lot of damage, but it just kind of too expensive most of the time. Like, when you're facing these cheap buildings like Tesla or Cannon, I feel like when you make your RG pushes, you never really have the Elixir to get a Lightning down, at least early on in the game, so it's pretty nice to have the Rage. I got a pretty quick Rage E-Spirit here, but Unfortunately, I did not get a tower connection. So I believe here, yeah, I just went for a fisherman in the back. I knew that even if he played like a knight into it or something, it wouldn't do anything, so I was not really scared of anything. I did see his inside goblin barrel, luckily. When you're playing barbarian barrel, the bait players often try to go for like inside or outside barrels just slightly, because if you play that bar barrel right down the middle, it actually does miss the singular goblin most on the outside. Because when you have log, it's just so wide that it can hit every goblin regardless, but when you have barbarian barrel, it's not quite as wide. I did get my hunter up high right here just because I knew that it would prevent him from trying to like bridge block with a goblin gang. Then I got my RG down and also a very nice monk ability. Honestly, beautiful timing, and then it pushed the RG, guys. I was hoping that would happen. I wasn't 100% sure if it would happen, but sometimes if you get the monk ability on the right tile, it can actually make your RG go around it, and then it can make it avoid the building. So I just cycled the fisherman in the back once again, guys, and I also did have my Evo hunter in cycle now, so I knew that I could probably get a pretty good RG push going here soon. And I was always sitting up with the monks in the back for the most part, because I feel like if you try to RG in the back instead of monk, they can just usually rocket it. So, you know, when you play that monk, you can always reflect it. The main issue in this matchup, guys, is that I feel like when they rocket you, if they try to play their rocket kind of high up, you actually can't react to it with your monk. You have to predict it, which is kind of a big issue sometimes. I think I went for an RG right here, then I did get a monk ability. Luckily for me, he didn't get a rocket. That was actually a really bad goblin gang by me. By him. Because that just gave me so much rage value there. Then I had a decently healthy RG here. He was able to just barely sneak the Tesla in on time. But his Tesla was really far out of cycle, so I knew I could just get an RG at the bridge here. And I knew that he'd basically guaranteed at least take a bit of damage. I got a really nice rage there just to take out the Tesla. I knew his Goblin gang would get kind of shredded by the Evo RG knockback anyways. And I basically took out his whole tower, man. We just had such a nice pick right here. And guys, at this point, I was 2-1 overall in duels. So, yeah, I basically could not afford a single other duel loss from here on out. So yeah, I was just trying to not choke this game here, you know? It's kind of easy to choke sometimes in CRL. He did actually get a nice prediction rocket there. I mean, not really a prediction, but like just a nice rocket, and I just couldn't react to it. You just can't. You have to predict it. It's so annoying, though. It feels illegal that they can just like rocket a monk like that. Because rocket's also kind of a slower traveling spell compared to really anything else in the game. Maybe they could eventually rework monks sometime, guys, and make it a little bit weaker in some aspects, but they could make it so the ability maybe activates a little bit quicker so you could actually react to spells better. Because currently you can only really react to a rocket if it's a little bit more towards your side of the map. If it's on your side, you can probably react to it pretty decently as long as it's not like right at the bridge. So this guy actually got some pretty good damage. He got a really good rocket once again, bro. This guy was just toying with me, but I didn't really care though, you know? As long as I didn't make any horrendous plays, I knew that he probably would not get enough damage to beat me in time. I did have to be really careful of his Bridge Princess though, and I was able to predict it with the Fisherman. I saw that inside barrel from a mile away. I was honestly just playing so clean this game. The first game I definitely made a few mistakes, but I kind of recovered with a really good set of plays at the end, and then this game I feel like my gameplay was just really good. And yeah, I got a nice bar barrel right there, and the monk reflection damage also got me just a little bit. He just went for a rocket, but I knew there was no way he was going to get enough damage in time, so yeah, guys, I mean, I was 3-1 at this point after beating this guy, but I knew that I would have some pretty good opponents to face after this. My next opponent was actually Wallace, who is one of the best players in the game. He made World Finals quite a few times. And I did decide to go for a Goblin Drill deck with him, guys. Me and my coach were kind of overthinking a little bit, trying to find different deck options that could work against Wallace, but we ended up deciding to go for a Goblin Drill, which we knew that he could make a snipe deck too, but the reason why we thought it might be pretty good to run this version is because we had the Spirit Empress up in here, because we knew that, you know, we could play, for example, some sort of air deck, so just having that extra Spirit Empress I knew would be really nice. And Wallace ended up going for an RG deck here, actually the same one that my previous opponent ran game 1 against me. I guess it's a pretty good game 1 against a lot of the decks that I was playing. Honestly, I don't think Wallace should have gone for that Furnace right there. I think he thought that the Spirit Empress wouldn't go for his Tombstone, but I'm pretty sure it would have. So I think he kind of just wasted that. I did get my Berserker up here. I was pretty certain that would kill the Furnace, but somehow it actually didn't. I don't know how that's possible. Fisherman also did get a slap on my tower, and I was down a few elixir at this point. The thing is, guys, I feel like in this matchup you have some pretty nice cards, like the Spirit Empress, for example. It's very hard for him to kill. he has like Fireball plus Mother Witch or Fireball plus Furnace to kill it, but it still gets a lot of damage down before they can do that. The main issue, I feel like, with Spirit Empress is that it's very easy to just play it, and then, you know, you spend so much elixir, that whole 6 elixir defending one lane, and then they just spam you on the other side. Man, I wish I could have got my Fireball down earlier, but I played the Berserker right as I saw his Mother Witch, so wasn't able to do so, just had to go for a Snowball, but he did get that annoying RG shot on my tower. Overall was not really the best start for me, and I knew it would be kind of hard to get damage through a Barbarelle and a Skelly King, but maybe with the Evo Snowball I was thinking I could have some sort of chance to get some damage. I think I just went for a Spirit Empress up high. Yeah, I knew the Spirit Empress would pretty much just like farm the Tombstone here. He couldn't do anything about it. It would just be stuck on the map for a long time. I don't know what that RG was. That was honestly a terrible RG by Wallace right there. Wallace is actually one of the best RG players in the game, guys, but yeah, that was not it with that RG. Got a nice Fireball on the Mother Witch and the Fisherman. I could have went for an Evo Snowball, but I knew he'd probably have, you know, obviously the Barbarelle, and he had the Skelly King, so I was pretty certain that I wouldn't get damage. I got a pretty decent Evo Tesla up high right here. He ended up going for the ability of the Skelly King, but the Evo Snowball actually did help me out pretty nicely, and I finally played my ground version of the Spirit Empress. Went for my Ice Spirit here, but it just barely got hit by the Skelly King. That was so bad for me. And at this point, I pretty much was thinking that, okay, I 100% lost this matchup. Like, as you could see, it's possible to defend his pushes, but it just feels like I'm never able to... Okay, how was that targeting from that far away, by the way? I don't know how that was doing that. That's insane. But yeah, you could see I had good cards against Wallace. It's just that I was never really able to set up the right push, I feel like. And I don't know, some cards in his deck were just kind of annoying for me. Like, for example, the Furnace, obviously. Wallace got a really good Fireball there. He was honestly doing a really good job of taking out my Spirit Empresses, I gotta say. Got my Berserker up high, Spirit Empress as well, and I think I got like a Bomber or something. I just let his Furnace get a bit of damage. And guys, I knew here was my chance. I had the Evo Snowball, I had a Bomber down, so I'm pretty sure I went in. Yeah, I went in for the Goblin Drill, then I knew I could get a Fireball, which would fully take out the Furnace together with that, you know, Goblin Drill impact damage. I got a really good Evo Snowball there, and I got some damage, guys, but I was still just down too much to be able to win this game by sitting still, so I knew that something had to be done. I needed to get some sort of damage. But I feel like if Wallace defended perfectly, even with the Evo Snowball, I could not break through with my drills, because Barbarelle and Skelly King is just too much to get through. I ended up going for, I believe, a Tesla right here. I don't think that Furnace was actually too good by Wallace, because it, yeah, just fully died. He kind of wasted that Evo Furnace. I think that was a pretty big mistake by Wallace. I don't know if I got a Fireball or not. I think I did go for a very late Fireball. I don't even know if I had to go for that Fireball. I kind of was just leaking Elixir almost, and I didn't want to leak Elixir, so I just played something. I got a really good Snowball there, though, pushing his Furnace into my Empress. Then I got a second Empress down, and I was starting to stack up stuff a little bit. I got a Fireball hitting the tower and the Mother Witch, which was very good for me, but I needed to get some sort of drill damage on the tower. And guys, pay attention to the fact that that Piggy got stopped there, that little Mother Witch Piggy. You guys will see here soon what happened. The Empress somehow went back for the RG. I don't know how that's possible. And guys, it was clear to me that I was not going to break through with a drill, but I just went for the drill anyways just to get that little bit of impact damage. And guys, look how little I won by. Okay, I actually won by more than I thought. I got the last Goblin Stab, but that was a close game. You know, guys, I don't even know why, but I feel like in 2023 and maybe a little bit of early 2024, Wallace was actually beating me quite a bit. Like, even when I was in a better placement than him sometimes in CRL and stuff like that in the year, like I had like a really good level, he was actually still beating me. Like, in 2023, I could have qualified to Worlds if I won maybe 1 or 2 more best of 3 duels. Probably like 2 more best of 3 duels, maybe 3 at most, but Wallace was actually the one who stopped me. So I just wanted to get him good here today. And I decided to play a Mega Knight Ramrider deck here in this game, and Wallace decided to go for Goblin Drill with the Goblin Stein as well, and some interesting cards. He had honestly a pretty bad Berserker right there. Didn't really do anything for him. And guys, something absolutely insane happened in this game. So basically, what happened, I don't think it happened right now as we're watching, but I think it happened in maybe like 30 seconds or so. But basically what happened is that I'm in the Czech Republic right now on vacation for just a few more days, maybe like 2 more days. Just, you know, visiting my grandma, my cousins. And basically my grandma walked in the room because I think I told my parents to tell her that I was busy, but I think they didn't because maybe they forgot or something. And then my grandma walked in and she was like talking to me and stuff, and she speaks Czech and I speak English. So I saw her and I didn't really know how to respond or like tell her that I was busy and stuff. And I just was like trying to look at her a little bit to not be rude and stuff like that. So basically, most of single elixir I was not even looking at my screen. Like guys, the last 30 seconds here I was not even looking at my screen. I was like looking up at my grandma most of the time. I was gonna be so annoyed, man, if it would cost me. And you guys will see here soon. Maybe something bad did happen, but we'll see. Honestly, I don't even remember all of these games myself. They're still pretty fresh. Yes, I got a ghost down right here, and I believe right as we got into double elixir, then I started to regain my focus because I think my grandma went to go do something. But yeah, I mean, bless my grandma, man. She's really nice, but I just didn't know how to tell her that I was busy. But anyways, yeah, I was locked in now, guys, and yeah, I think right at this point, right when I played this Mega Knight in the back, that's when I was fully back in the game. You know, thank goodness I didn't take like some crazy goblin drill damage or something. And guys, a very pivotal card that you'll see do a lot later in this game is actually the evolved bomber. You guys will see what Wallace does with it later in this game, but it actually played a very big role in it. So yeah, Wallace was just holding on to that Evo bomber, just not cycling it at all. I actually got a really nice Evo Inferno Dragon. It was heating up really nicely. I was just really hoping that it could, you know, maintain that charge, because if it doesn't attack something for a while, it just loses it. Also, that Golden Knight got a nice tiny little connection. Evo Inferno Dragon was raged up and doing a really good job, but he was able to stop it pretty nicely. Even though he stopped it nicely, guys, look how much elixir I was up at this point. Just from that Evo Inferno Dragon, I was up like, I don't know, 5 elixir. Actually a little bit more than 5 elixir probably. But guys, also another really good card for me in this matchup was definitely the Golden Knight, because the Golden Knight could just chain on the Goblin, spear Goblins so easily. That was kind of a bad snowball by Wallace, I feel like. Maybe not the worst ever, but not the best. He did get a good Golden Knight ability block. I think that Goblinstein by him on the right side was actually really bad. He got no value out of it and just gave me a free counter push. And then he played his hut kind of low, so I knew the Ram Rider could get a breakthrough, and yeah, I was able to get some very nice damage on the tower, which put me up quite a bit. See, honestly, guys, I feel like normally this matchup actually wouldn't be good for the Mega Knight player, because normally, you know, the Goblinstein just is a complete wall against the Mega Knight pushes, and obviously I had Evo Mega Knight, so I could kind of chuck it away sometimes, but when they get like the guards down and stuff too, then your Mega Knight's just always going to die, even if it's evolved. But I think the real difference maker in this matchup was definitely the Golden Knight. That's really what made the matchup a lot better for me than what it could have been. I got a Golden Knight ability here, plus the Rage there, making sure to kill absolutely everything. And I did get a nice Ghost on the tower. The only issue is that Ghost can be pushed away by Snowball, so I wasn't really able to make any good pushes here, guys, and Wallace kept on shipping me out. I did get a nice Golden Knight ability, and I was able to get some nice Evo Archers, but he did have the arrows for them. I feel like if I had something like a Bomber, it would have been a lot better. Then he got the Evo Snowball, and I couldn't do anything, guys. There was no way for me to stop that. And then he got so much damage right here, guys, and I literally just couldn't make a push. There was, like, no push I could make. Like, what push am I going to make here? I got such a good Golden Knight ability, though. But yeah, there was, like, no push I could make. If I go for a Ram Rider, he's just going to Goblin Hut and get a free counter push and a positive elixir trade. That was a bad drill, but then he got the Evo Bomber, which I completely forgot about, guys. He kept his Bomber in his hand for, like, 5 minutes straight. But I want to highlight something, guys. I want to highlight that Rage that I did right there. And this is going to come down to the absolute wire. But dude, that Rage made my Mega Knight go faster, so his Bomber would get less damage on my tower, and I won by 5 HP with a Snowball running towards my tower. And now with absolutely everything on the line, I was up against Pedro, who did finish number 2 in the world in CRL World Finals, I believe in, I think 2023. I don't really remember, to be honest. Maybe 2021, something like that. Anyways, yeah, I decided to play Hog Wizard, and he decided to go for a Goblin Drill deck. I think the reason he played this version was because he was expecting me to go for a Drill deck. So guys, there was a lot of mind games going on here, and basically how that happened is that I faced another player earlier in this stage, and he had the same coach as the guy right here. So we were facing the same coach for the second time in the same day. That Wizard did me so good right there, man. I love that that got a shot. But yeah, he was trying to snipe a Drill deck because I played Goblin Drill first game against his other player, so that's why he decided to play this version of Drill to counter my versions of Goblin Drill decks. Got a really good E-Spirit there, but only got a small Hog connection. I think I did just go for some split skeletons, yeah, just to bring that Royal Ghost kind of into my Monk. And I was off to a pretty good start. I feel like the Monk can actually be really nice in this matchup. It does really well against the Cannon Cart, but the only issue is that Furnace doesn't really get killed by Monk very easily, because it doesn't actually do that much damage on its own, so I didn't even pop my Monk ability here. I just let it die. Now, guys, one thing I had to be really careful of is that, well, I was going for the high Tesla sometimes here, but if you go for the Tesla in this position, they can actually snipe it with stuff like cannon carts or furnaces when they have a bigger push. So I had to make sure that I would go for my Tesla a little bit lower later in this game, and you guys will probably see here pretty soon. I did go for a Monk on all of his stuff here, but I was down a couple of Elixir because of it. And Pedro also did have his Evo Furnace and Cycle, which I think is actually a little bit difficult to stop. But yeah, I had a nice Monk right here, and he had to play the Golden Knight into it, which was pretty nice for me. So yeah, I just went for the Wizard down low right here. I mean, I was feeling really good with Hog Rider, guys. I knew that even if I got a bad matchup, I would still have a pretty good chance to outplay. He actually got a really good Golden Knight, but then it somehow went backwards. It's like the first Golden Knight ever that didn't just go on the tower. I'm so used to a Golden Knight like that going on the tower, guys, but a little while ago they changed it so Golden Knight can dash backwards, and I guess in that situation, it actually harmed Pedro, because if it was the old Golden Knight, he would have got a nice tower connection. But yeah, that was really nice for me that it ended up going back up instead. And guys, the logic behind this deck was that, well, one of the coach's favorite decks, the guy who's coaching this player, one of his favorite decks to give his players is Mortar Bait, which is basically just like, you know, Mortar with the Evo, Skelly Barrel, Goblin Gang, stuff like that. And we just wanted to have the Wizard and Hog Earthquake to completely counter that. And we had the E-Spirit 2 quick cycle as well with the Skeletons. We didn't end up facing that, but honestly, I was pretty happy with this matchup, and I was really just in the driver's seat this whole time. He did go for the Evo Furnace in the opposite lane of my Wizard, which I was not too sure how it would go. And I believe I did go for a Monk. Yeah, I went for the Monk here supporting the Evo Wizard. I knew the Evo Wizard shield would get pretty good value there. Completely soaked up that Golden Knight dash and everything. Hog Rider, I believe, did not get a hit there, actually. Yeah, man, they really need to nerf the Furnace range ASAP, dude. It's actually so annoying how it can just, like, reach those Teslas from so far. Feels so wrong. You know, I'm so baffled, actually, by the fact that some casual players are complaining that Furnace is too weak now. Guys, Furnace is still incredibly broken now, and I see casuals, like, complaining and stuff how they just made everyone buy Furnace just to completely kill it. Like, guys, it's still the best card in the game, pretty much. Come on now. I think it still needs another nerf, or emergency nerf, actually, according to a lot of pros. Anyways, I got a Hog Rider down right here. I just kept on trying to apply a bit of pressure. I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't overcommit too much, because I feel like sometimes towards the end of games, players tend to overcommit, just trying to get a bit ahead of themselves. But, you know, I was fine playing some Hog Riders. I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't overspend way too much with some huge push or something. Got some nice Skeletons there. Pedro got an Evo Snowball, but honestly, it was kind of useless for him there. Didn't really end up doing anything. I just had to get rid of this Evo Furnace, so to do that, I played the Evo Tesla up high, which was able to lock on the Furnace. I feel like the Furnace was really my only worry at this point in the game. I got a Hog Rider down because I was so scared that he would pop the early Golden Knight ability, but he didn't, and then his troops were just stacking and stacking on me, so I popped my Monk ability here, guys, and I thought maybe I lost the game, but luckily I was able to get my tower on the drill there, got a nice E-Spirit right at the perfect time, and got a late log. And, you know, he had no Magic Archer or anything too crazy, so I was pretty sure that I'd be able to clutch up this game. I got a nice Tesla right on his Goblin Drill. And yeah, I just played really well by being kind of aggressive in single Elixir, so even though I took some damage later in the game, I was able to secure the first win. And guys, this was for absolutely everything. If I won this match, I was pretty sure that I would guaranteed be qualified to the monthly final. So I decided to play this Mortar deck. My coach was thinking that Mortar would be a good option, and he gave me some Mortar deck, but I actually made some tweaks to it together with him, and we decided to add Spirit Empress and the Ice Wizard. The Ice Wizard just pairs so well with the Cannoneer Tower, I feel like, because it slows things down for so long, and it allows the Cannoneer to completely wreck them. I got some really good arrows there, actually. Then I knew he thought the E-Spirit would get on my Mortar, so I blocked it with the Skelly Barrel, and then I made him waste his Berserker there. That was such a high IQ Skelly Barrel right there. I loved that play. That was actually so smart, and that put me off to a really good start. Already a 600 damage lead. You guys can see I kind of just caught him off guard. Like, those arrows, I, you know, just played it a little bit quickly before he expected it, and then that Skelly Barrel also messed up his game plan. He actually let the Mortar get right on his tower, surprisingly. And he went for a late RG, which I was able to just get a nice Spirit Empress onto. And as you can see, I was just really controlling the game here. I made his cycle so bad. He had absolutely no air card to stop the Spirit Empress here. And also, we did put the Cannoneer Tower in this deck. Because, guys, the first stage of CRL, the first day of CRL, it's in-game duels, so the only tower troop you can have is Princess Tower, but in day 2 it's just normal duels, so I was able to play, you know, different tower troops. Basically what happens is that there's like this mode called in-game duels where you have to pre-make decks to use, and you pick which one you use each game, but when it's normal duels, you can just, after each game, make your own deck. You know, you don't have to have pre-made decks and stuff, which is kind of nice, and also you can use those tower troops. I believe I got my Ice Wizard in the back right here. Yeah. And Pedro did get the Evo Wizard. He had both of his Evos in cycle, actually, the Evo RG and the Evo Wizard, but I got my Evo Mortar opposite lane, guys. Now, you might think that Evo Mortar is kind of weird because obviously it's not really going to do much against an RG, but I purposely played it there just to make sure that he couldn't get a big Monk RG Evo Wizard push to break through, and also he wasted the Wizard, so my Spirit Empress had free reign to just completely destroy him. He did get a pretty good Monk ability, though, to be fair, but I was feeling pretty good. He went for the Wizard, so I believe I just went for an Evo Skelly Barrel plus Mortar. Yeah, Evo Skelly Barrel plus Mortar. Without the Wizard in cycle, he really couldn't stop my Evo Skelly Barrel without taking some good damage. He actually went for an aggressive RG, but I just got a Berserker to tank the Wizard, then I got my gang down. And bro, look at the DPS of the Cannoneer together with the Ice Wizard. Just insane. Took out everything so easily. Dude, the Spirit Empress is actually so toxic in this Mortar deck. You could just play like 2 Mortars, and then you just get like a Spirit Empress down the middle, and they just can't do anything. I was kind of holding on to my Spirit Empress right here, though, just because I knew that I kind of needed it to stop the RG pushes, so I just wanted to see that RG first. But here I had a good opportunity to snipe the Evo Wizard. Got a really good placement there to make sure it would target the Evo Wizard before the RG, which was really good for me. And he actually kind of messed up the Monk a bit, I guess. Maybe he could have popped the Monk ability a bit earlier because it actually didn't end up killing my Spirit Empress. So I just had so many units down. I went for the opposite lane Skelly Barrel just to obviously not feed that Fireball too much. I knew he had to log somewhere, so I just went for the Skelly King ability too to get even more skeletons on the board. And, you know, he was defending decently, but yeah, it just seemed like it was really hard for him to get any sort of momentum going in his favor. And honestly, guys, I think the matchup was pretty decent for me, pretty good for me, especially with the Spirit Empress, but I feel like he could have had a chance in this matchup because he's actually a pretty solid RG player. I think the reason why it was going so well for me, though, was just because I had such a good momentum start, you know what I mean? Like, I think getting those good momentum starts can actually be such a game changer. Got a good Skelly King here. You could see I was always spacing out stuff well. I was always making sure to tank for that Wizard and then just get like a Goblin Gang down after. Mortar actually got on his tower here, and I knew with the arrows it would be tower down, or at least I thought it would be. It actually was not quite tower down, but I knew that I just had to get the arrows down, and I was pretty sure I guaranteed qualified at this point. I was honestly really happy with my gameplay today, guys, and now we're gonna move on to the monthly final. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.